Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into a beautiful, ancient tale about love being pushed to its absolute limit. It's a story about a mysterious young woman, a really devoted prince, and a series of, well, impossible trials that are going to test not just their love, but their courage and their wisdom too.
You know, it's a classic question, right? But this story, it takes it to a whole other level. So as we go through this, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. How far would you really go? Because our hero, he is about to be asked to go further than most of us could ever imagine.
All right, so every great story needs a fascinating hero, right? And ours kicks off with the very mysterious beginnings of a young woman named Mrignayani.
So our story starts with this poor but super kind couple, Don Raj and Sumitra, who more than anything want a child. Then one stormy night, boom, they find a baby girl left on their doorstep. They name her Mrignayani, which means deer-eyed, and they raise her as their own. But as you can see, they pretty quickly realize she is no ordinary kid.
And this right here, this is the huge secret Midyanani has been forced to keep her whole life. Every single time there's a full moon, this bizarre transformation happens. Her eyes, even her fingernails, they turn this glowing, almost supernatural green. Can you imagine? Of course, she's terrified of what people might think, so she just hides herself away. Her own origins are a complete mystery, even to her.
But Mrignayani's quiet, hidden life is about to get completely turned upside down, all thanks to the arrival of Prince Vishal.
Now, Prince Vishal is not your typical royal. He's the youngest son of the king, and he's known everywhere for his good heart and his courage. But here's the thing. He's refused all these arranged marriages because he insists he will only marry when he finds true love. And then one day, he just happens to stumble into Mrignayani's village.
And bam! He is just instantly captivated by her beauty and her grace. He keeps coming back to see her day after day, and he falls completely in love. He doesn't care one bit that she comes from a poor family. He just sees her. And so he asks her to be his wife.
But, you know, Mrignayani can't just say yes. She knows she has to tell him her secret. And she's terrified he's going to reject her. But she bravely tells him everything about the weird transformations and the fact that she doesn't even know who her real parents are.
And this right here, this is where you see what kind of guy Vishal really is. Instead of running away, he just embraces her completely. He tells her none of it matters. His love is unconditional. And for him, honestly, this just makes their bond even stronger.
So you think, okay, happy ending, right? Well, not so fast. Just as they're getting ready for their wedding, some kind of supernatural force steps in. Their love is about to face the ultimate challenge, and it's set by a mother Mrignayani never even knew she had.
So on the night of the full moon, right before her wedding, this absolutely stunning, ethereal woman just appears in Mrignayani's room. She says her name is Staravati, and she's not only Mrignayani's real mother, she's a Yakshini. Now, what's a Yakshini? Think of them as these beautiful, powerful nature spirits from Hindu folklore. She explained she had to leave her daughter in the human world to keep her safe.
Now, Taravati is happy for her daughter, but there's a catch, a big one. She will not give her blessing until the prince proves he is truly worthy. So she announces that Vishal has to pass 3 tests. Each one is designed to check a different part of his soul. A test of his love, a trial of his courage, and a challenge of his wisdom. And the stakes, oh, they're huge. If he fails, she's taking Mrignayani away to the spirit world forever.
And she doesn't waste any time. The first test, the test of love, happens right then and there at the wedding ceremony. Taravati appears and holds out a cup filled with this dark, gross-smelling liquid. She says it's poison. If his love is true, he'll live. If it's not, he'll die.
While everyone, including Mrignayani, is screaming for him not to do it, Vishal just looks at his beloved, gives her this little smile, and drinks the entire cup without even hesitating. And he's fine. He's totally unharmed. Taravati reveals it was just some bitter water. The real test was whether he was willing to sacrifice his life for love. And he passed.
But Vishal barely has a second to breathe, because the second test starts immediately, a test of pure courage. Taravati zaps him away to Patsalok, the underworld, which is basically a place of total darkness and monsters. His task? Survive there, all alone, for 7 terrifying nights.
And just look at the kind of stuff he had to face. I mean, each night was a new horror designed to completely break his spirit. We're talking about unearthly screams that would curdle your blood, a giant serpent straight out of a nightmare, a room that just erupts into a raging inferno.
He's even tempted by these cruel illusions, including a fake injured Mistrignani begging him to save her. But through it all, his unwavering love for the real Mistrignani just fuels his courage and gives him the strength to keep going.
So after 7 nights, he makes it back, having proven his courage. But it's not over yet. Now for the final test, a test of the mind. Taramath is going to ask 3 riddles. A single wrong answer, and he loses everything.
Okay, here's the first one. Let's think about this for a sec. What is unseen but changes everything, grows when you give it away but shrinks when you try to keep it for yourself? What do you think?
Vishal thinks about his whole journey with Mringanayani and he gives the correct answer. Love. Taravati is impressed. Okay, 1 down, 2 to go.
All right, riddle number 2. This one goes a little deeper. Who is the most powerful and yet the weakest, gives everything and asks for nothing back?
Thinking of his own mom, and of course of Taravati's sacrifice, Vishal answers, a mother. And this answer, it moves the Yakshini queen to tears. She's remembering the pain of having to leave her own child behind.
And now for the final, most difficult riddle. Okay, this is it. It's something we all have, but none of us can see it. It's the greatest wealth there is, but once it's gone, it is gone forever.
And, Vishal thinks back to those 7 long days he spent in the underworld, time he could never, ever get back. His answer, born right from that tough experience, is correct: time. He's done it. He has passed all 3 tests, proving his love, his courage, and now his wisdom.
And with that final, correct answer, it's done. He has proven himself worthy in every single way, which brings us to the story's really powerful conclusion.
Parvati, with her eyes just filled with joyful tears, declares that Vishal is the perfect match for her daughter. She gives them her blessing, and as a final gift, she does something incredible. She uses her magic to remove the Yakshini part of Mrignayani, making her fully human so she'll never have to transform again.
So, what's the big takeaway here? See, Vishal didn't just win because he loved Mrignayani. He won because that love was backed up by the courage to literally face death and the wisdom to understand some of life's deepest truths. The 3 weren't really separate tests. They were all interconnected parts of who he was.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. This story shows you really need all 3 to win, but if you had to pick just one as your most important guiding principle, love, courage, or wisdom, which one would it be? It's a pretty interesting question to reflect on. Thanks for hanging out and exploring this story with me.